I went running on the trails at night for the first time the other day, and it was a crazy experience. In this video, I'm going to share what happened on the run, as well as the mistakes that I made and tips and tricks I picked up along the way, so that if you decide to run on the trails at night, you can have an amazing time. So first things first, running on the trails at night is so different. I was so surprised at how different of an experience it was. We got to the trails at dusk, so we had an amazing sunset. It was so beautiful. The lighting was amazing. And just watching and feeling the sun go down was just, I don't know how to put it into words. It was just such a nice experience. It was just so cool. And then once the sun did disappear, I could not believe how different the trails felt. I've heard people say that they get lost, at night in races, and I fully can understand how that happens now, because you just have no sense of direction or no idea where you are. We were on a trail that we've been doing lots of because I'm doing a last one standing, which is like a loop race, as many loops as you can do in 24 hours. So we were just doing the same 7.5 kilometer loop over and over again. But I could have just been running in a straight line in a completely different place for all I knew. It was just so different. You look out, other than what your head torch is lighting up, it's just pitch black. It is so crazy. You have nothing to kind of give you reference except for the moon and the stars. And again, I can really understand how people back in the day before electricity was around, how they use the stars and the moon to navigate, because it's all you can see, which is actually so cool. Running under the moon and the stars was just way cooler than what I thought it would be. So yeah, I really recommend running at night, but there are definitely a few things that you need to make sure it's a good experience, because I can see exactly how it could go wrong. And number one is definitely the GPS. Yeah, as I said, we were running this loop. I am the local legend of this loop at the moment because we've been doing it so many times. I could have been anywhere, honestly. Apart from the terrain, I could have been anywhere. So having a GPS, whether that's on your watch or on your phone, is so important, because it would be so easy to get lost, or to take, if you get multiple trails, to take the wrong one, because everything looks so different and you could be anywhere. And it's really cool, and it's also really scary. At one point I was running and I thought I was on the trail, and I'd obviously taken this side trail where maybe people during the day take photos for the lookout, and I came to a cliff's edge and it was like, whoa. And luckily I was able to look at my watch and actually see which direction to go. I don't know if you've ever had that experience where you kind of just suddenly come up to like a cliff. Do people have that in their life? And yeah, it was like, whoa. So yeah, really have a GPS with you, because it is so easy to get lost, especially if you're running somewhere where the trail isn't super established. The second thing that I learned on this run is having a good head torch goes a long way, and make sure you take a backup. So because it was my first time running at night, it was my first time obviously with head torches, and I just have these cheap Amazon ones. I bought, I think it was 2 for 1. So I decided to take with me in my vest the backup head torch, because I wasn't sure how long the battery was going to last, and we were going to be running at night for at least 3 to 4 hours. And luckily I did have a backup head torch, because in about hour 3 my head torch really started to die and it faded. And it's, especially where we're running, it's very rocky. You really need to have good light because it's quite technical, and you need to know where you're putting your feet. So I was really pleased that I did decide to take a backup head torch, because honestly the phone light is not going to cut it. You need to have a really good source of light. It depends how serious you are about your running as to what you invest in your head torch, but for me, I'm going to be running 12 hours at night, so I need to sort that out. But yeah, having a backup was crucial because we were about a quarter of the way through the 3rd loop and I had to switch my head torches. And yeah, I was just really grateful because otherwise I could have been out there for ages and it would have slowed me down a lot. Probably would have had to have walked a lot of it and maybe had to use my phone light, which is just, yeah, not good enough. And who knows how long your phone lasts, you know, with a torch on. Does it last longer than an hour? Don't know, and I don't want to find out. So yeah, having a good head torch is really important, and then having a backup because it is so crucial. I cannot stress how dark it is out there once the sun goes down. It is so dark. There's no lights anywhere. So yeah, take good light sources, guys. The other thing that was really crazy that I didn't expect was you have no perception of depth. So the terrain that we're running on is really rocky, and because the light is on top of your head and it's shining down, it doesn't create any shadows, so you can't really tell the height of, I don't know, objects on the trails. Like for me, it's the rocks. So you really have to slow down. You can't run as fast as you would during the day. But one trick that I did learn, and it's particularly helpful on the downhills, is if you actually take your head torch off and hold it further down, it then creates shadows. It's just easier to see the depths. You have shadows so you can see the height of whatever's on the trail, for me, the rocks. So I was actually able to really speed up by taking my head torch off my head and just holding it in my hand. But yeah, you don't really need to do that on the uphill because you're obviously moving slower. But yeah, that was really helpful on the downhill. Another thing it's good to know when you're running at night is that some animals can be more active at night, especially if you live in a hot country like I do. Everything really comes out at night. So for living in the UAE, you don't really have anything dangerous other than, I think, snakes and scorpions, which yeah, come out at night. So anyway, if you're running on the trails, you should know what animals are in the area so that you know what to do and how to respond if you come across them. Same is true for running at night, knowing what animals are active at night, and yeah, just being aware that you're probably more likely to see them. We didn't see any, but I was with people who run regularly at night, and they were telling me that they've seen these snakes and scorpions on the trails and stuff. So yeah, just being aware of that. And then I think running in numbers at night, especially if you're a newbie, luckily for me, the UAE is a really safe country. So I don't feel danger in that sense. But the danger for me would be if I twisted my ankle, which I actually did have a few close calls with because I was really struggling with the depth perception. So a few like little twists and trip ups here and there. So yeah, because it is so different and it is such a different experience and it is so easy to get lost, I would recommend definitely going with someone for the first few times, just because safety in numbers. And then, you know, when you're feeling super confident, you can run on your own. But overall, I actually loved running at night. I was really surprised at how different it felt. And yeah, just the isolation of it all. I mean, I really love that feeling. And you just feel, because it's so pitch black around you, just feel like the only person on earth. And it's just, yeah, a really cool experience. And just running under the moon and the stars, just beautiful. I really, really recommend it. It is such an experience. And yeah, just, you know, be smart about it. Take a really good light source, have a GPS with you, go with people and know what's in the area, and maybe run on a trail that you know really well for the first time, just in case you do get lost. You know the area reasonably well. If you found this video helpful, useful, please like and subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you on the next one.